Hello everybody. We are going to learn about Character Animator today. Character Animator is a really powerful tool in After Effects. Sorry, that's my diggity dog clicking and clacking in the background. She always gets really excited when I talk to myself at my computer screen. So it's a scene in this house that happens a lot. Anyway, today we're going to take a look at Character Animator. It's a really powerful tool. I believe it launched in like 2018 or 2017. And it's come a long way. It was pretty clunky in the beginning, but it's definitely like a great option for doing character animation. It saves a ton of time. It's amazing. We're going to go through some just some super basic and quick export option, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more in-depth option for exporting. And then for those of you that like to draw and are illustrators, I'm going to show you how you can download a puppet file and manipulate it in Photoshop and create your own puppet, your own design. So for this tutorial, you need to have Character Animator and you need to have Adobe Media Encoder 2025 installed on your machine. So if you don't have these apps updated, make sure you go to your Creative Cloud Manager and make sure that you have everything updated. If you don't have Character Animator installed, which you probably don't because we haven't used it yet, go ahead and pause this, get that installed, make sure that these are both 2025 and the most current version. Okay, let's go ahead and we're just going to dive in. So when you launch Character Animator, you are probably going to see a screen like this. So you're going to see some tutorials at the top. You're going to see some quick puppet options. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to choose a puppet. Now you can choose one of these ones to make it simple if you want. You can also see more, and that will take you to a new, it'll open up a browser page where you have lots of puppet options in here. So I'm going to show you how to just choose a puppet from the interface first. Then we'll download a puppet and import it, and then we'll continue to do more stuff after that. So what I want you to do is let's just go ahead and pick one of these puppets for simplicity's sake. I don't know. This is the hardest part about tutorials, is actually making decisions. I'm going to pick this robot. There we go. So what you are going to see is it's going to go ahead and load the puppet in for you. And you will need to have a camera on your computer as well as your microphone. So if you need to enable your camera and microphone in order for this to work. Now you can import recorded speech, which is probably what people will do for the most part, especially if it's not your voice that's recorded. So that is an option, but let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and record my face and voice. And of course, I'm recording this tutorial on my second screen, so I'll have to face my camera here in just a moment. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and record. Hey there. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm just a robot hanging out outside in the park enjoying nature. All right. So go ahead and record something with your puppet. Now, one thing that I want to point out to you is that most likely when you opened, oh wow, what was that? I'm going to show you these controls in just a minute. These are really fun. When you opened Character Animator, it should have started up in starter mode. So over here, it should say starter right here. You have a choice between starter and pro, and we're going to stay in starter for right now. So if yours says pro up there and your interface isn't looking simple like this, you need to probably go up here and go to stay or choose starter. It'll say use starter if you're in pro. Okay, so All right, now I've got my robot. It's, for simplicity's sake, I could just export this, but you also get all of these wonderful options. So you can kind of roll over these and see what they all do. Here's mad, lightning. Every puppet has different options. There's worried, squinting, skeptical, claw hands. So what I can do is, if I want these different animations to happen on the timeline, I can just take and drag and drop, like the heart, for example, and it will add that animation. And you can adjust the length of these actions. So go ahead and have fun and just throw some of these actions onto your puppet just for fun. And let's see, what's questioning. So of course, like, these are not going to look that great because they're not really following along with what I'm saying. But, here's a sword. Definitely want to do a sword. Let's do a sword. Okay. So with that being said, this is the most kind of simple way that you can deal with Animator. The other thing you can do is, in Starter, you can change the background. You can do it in Pro too, but there's some other options in Pro that we'll get into here in just a little bit. So let's say I said I was in a park, so I kind of have to stay in a park, but maybe I want something that looks a little bit more like this, or maybe a little bit more like this, whatever the case may be. So I could, you can choose solid colors, and you can also add your own background. So if you want to add your own image, you certainly can. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for this background, and let's go ahead and export this animation so that I can have my video file to add to, say, my motion design project. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to File, Export, and we're going to go to Quick Export. And you can see you don't really have a lot of options on how this comes out, and that is because we are in Starter. So you have a choice between a high quality, medium, and low quality. I'm just going to do high quality. We are going to stitch these together in Premiere at the end because we're going to do a couple of different types of files, okay? So let's go ahead and export this, and it's going to go ahead and export that out for me. Hopefully I sent that to my desktop. I always think about that after I hit render. Where did it? Oh, it's storing it in Character Animator. So I'll just take that out. Thank you very much. Okay, I should have told it to save to the desktop. All right, so let's check out this video file. Now, the downside to recording the audio with your computer is, like, depending on your project, you want it to be real pro, right? So you will have recorded your audio. I mean, I suppose you could get, like, your microphone set up into your computer and record it that way in real time. But the reason for recording something previously is that you would want to be able to manipulate it, edit it, whatever the case may be. I'm just a robot hanging out outside in the park enjoying nature. Okay, so there we go. That is our first clip. So now let's go ahead and we're going to download a puppet and then bring it into Character Animator. So what we can do is I'm going to go ahead and save this project and I'll call it Robot, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. There we go. And I can just throw this all into a folder later. All right. So with this scene, we're just gonna leave it. We're gonna go to File and say New Project. Now, when we go to see more puppets, let's go ahead and download one of these. So what else can I be today? How about a lemon? Of course, I love lemons. I love lemon flavored everything. Okay, so I'm going to just go to download. And what you are going to see is you should have a download that ends in the file type puppet. So I have lemon.puppet here. All right. So in character animator, what we're going to do is now that we have our puppet, we can just go to import puppet right here. And I'm just going to navigate to my good friend Lemon Puppet. We're going to import that. Ah, very cool. All right, so now that we have our puppet friend, I'm maybe going to change this background to something a little more sour, shall we say? What could be lemon themed? A lemon in the west? Perhaps. That could work. What's this one? No. I'm liking this deserted town feel. Okay. This puppet is sitting a little bit high, and I'm not sure how to move it right at the moment, but I'm gonna go ahead and record something. So let's go ahead and record for this puppet. Hey y'all, I am just a lemon hanging out in a town all by myself because I'm the only one left. I am the last of the lemons. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so you can go ahead and move the puppet around. Maybe it probably needed to record first, whatever I was going to record. So let's check this out. I am just a lemon hanging out in a town all by myself because I'm the only one left. Okay, so then I can go through and I can kind of add some of these actions. Oh, he's the only one left. Let's make him angry right there. Because I'm the only one left. I am the last of the lemons. Okay. And then he'll go like, what? Right here, because he's the last one. Okay, cool. I am just a lemon hanging out in a town all by myself. All right, so that is how you can bring a puppet in, super easy. Now, what we're gonna do is, now that we have this all applied, you can go to File and Export and Quick Export. But you can see there's a bunch of different options here. And what I wanted to show you is how you could export your puppet through Media Encoder with an alpha channel so that the background is transparent. Because as you know, we're doing a lot of compositing in this class, and being able to export your puppet out of here with transparency is going to be really helpful if you have like another major, you're working on a major motion design project and you need the puppet, but you don't necessarily want to be limited to the way the background looks. It could maybe not even matter for your project, and you can just use the backgrounds in here and put your own background in. But you might want that flexibility where you can export the scene out with transparency. So let's take a look at that. So I'm not going to get too much into Pro, but we'll just look at some basic things. So up in your upper right-hand corner, it says Starter. I want you to click that little box next to Starter, and you're going to choose Use Pro. And it's going to switch your interface. I'm just going to close that panel because we don't need it. It's going to switch your interface, and you're going to see like there's a lot going on under the hood. I'm just going to take my timeline and expand it a little bit, and you can see that there are a lot of layers here. There's a lot of keyframes that were recorded, and you can kind of see like the inner workings of the puppet right here. and all the different sort of keyframes that can be recorded. So you can see it can get really complicated and it can get really complex if that's what you need to do, if you need that control. So for the purposes of this class, we're not going to go through any of this stuff. We don't need to do that. But what I want to do is go ahead and show you how to export with transparency. So I do also love how the puppet continues to talk while he's stuck in this position because of the camera. I turned the camera off, but anyway, okay, so we're gonna come back over to our background button in your lower right-hand corner. Go ahead and click that. And this time you're gonna pick, you can see you have new options, transparent light grid. And that's what we wanna pick. And let's see, can I select him and move him? Oh, here we go. Here it is. Okay.